Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We've got, hopefully, a nice little triangle-shaped gem right here from this Boulder Opal parcel from Nick Hoops that we unboxed just the other day. It'll be a very quick and easy one to find out if it's any good or not. It's a fairly thin seam, as per usual. This was out of an offcuts parcel, but for 300 bucks, if this one works out plus another one, you're already in the positive. So we're just gonna take this down. It'll be fairly straightforward cut, I believe. So we'll just go with sintered diamond. We'll start off with a fairly coarse one just to get that mud off, though it will come off pretty quickly, and then we'll taper back down towards the higher grit. Then we'll go the 4-pack of Nova resin points. You can see here how much the 280 wears as opposed to the 3000. Actually, you can see the gradual wear decrease as you get higher. That's very expected. These were all the same size. And then after that, depending on how much ironstone there is in the face, we are hoping for 0% ironstone in the face, but tiny little bits like this make me think that there could be some piercing the opal layer. We'll go with either cerium oxide if there's no ironstone, or aluminium oxide if there's a couple spots of ironstone in there. But we're going to hope that there's nothing and we can just hit it with the cerium oxide and get ourselves a win. So let's spin up and get going. And we're off, and straight away once I wet the stone I can see here that the colour is actually petering out before that pointed end of the triangle. Unfortunately that most likely means that we're not going to find any colour. I mean, I am cheating, I do have hindsight, I am recording this post cutting. But it does peter out, unfortunately, so the triangle dreams were dead pretty fast. And you can see here I'm using the 80 grit. Boulder doesn't have to make a mess when you're carving it. You can keep it right on the edge of the water like this, and you'll see the water is what gets dirty. Sure, it spits on the thumb a little bit, but you don't get the full boulder tan. It's if you're really careful, you won't make a mess at all. It'll just stay in the water. Just goes to show that you don't have to breathe in the dust or anything either. And with the 80 grit, we're just going pretty hard at it. You can see I've flashed forward to a point where you're just starting to see the opal come through. As soon as this happens, that's when you calm down a bit. Just focus on all the areas with the ironstone, and you'll just be able to work your way around any little spots of colour. Try not, as much as possible, to drill into those ironstone pockets. Even if they are diving in pretty deep, you still don't want to dive in straight away. Just take it easy, just work around the colour, try to avoid it. But yeah, once you get to the point where you're exposing patches, just avoid those patches as much as possible, but still work pretty evenly. It's only when you get to the higher grit sintered diamonds that you'll want to start going really targeted, which you'll see in a second. For now, you're just doing it pretty casually. You can see I'm just working around those spots of colour. Make sure you wipe it on a very regular basis. You don't want to miss when you're hitting the opal. It's not as scary as it seems though. Don't worry about it. You will feel if you're using a flex shaft when you're starting to hit opal and not ironstone. It's a very distinct feeling. And then here you can see I've gone up to the 600 grit, and here is where you're being really careful. Don't hit the colour at all if at all possible. You will need to pass over it right towards the end, but you don't want to do it early on. Just get a feel for where the opal's going, make sure you get all the undulating surfaces, and just target it a little bit more. I'm using a pointed burr, which is a little bit risky. I don't advise doing this until you really get a feel for it. The pointed burr will make you feel like you can just really drill into tiny little spots. The problem with that is that your Nova points won't be able to reach those spots. So you still want to be doing sweeping motions. You don't want to be just drilling in like you're trying to drill a hole through something. You want to still even it out and just take little side to side motion. You should never be drilling straight into the stone. Always just go side to side. Sure, use the point a little bit more on a burr like this and just focus on those little ironstone areas, but you don't want to be drilling down ever. Just nice, calm, gentle, side to side motions. You can move it pretty quickly. Here I've sped up the footage 400 times, but you want to just target the little ironstone pockets and just don't drill down. You'll get to the point where you start having these magic little moments where the ironstone little spots start disappearing completely and just revealing the colour. I'll slow down when the footage gets to that point where we reveal this really nice blue. But for now, it's just, yeah, very much targeting any of these ironstone spots and just take a good side-on look at the opal every now and then. You can learn a lot looking at it from the side. It is quite surprising what you find sometimes. And this is starting to get to the point where you get that magic moment. So here we'll just slow down a little bit, and you can see there's a lot of these little disparate patches of ironstone and just a little bit of sweeping over it, and boom, gone. We do that a little bit more and we end up uncovering the opal, which is really nice. And here I'm just cutting a saw line because that top, unfortunately, the color did peter out. There is some potch in the face as well, but I'm just cutting this little line because it makes it really easy to set the saw blade in there. And then we're just going to do sweeping motions, just sliding across the surface, not getting bogged into the slice or anything like that, dipping after each little slice. This is the part where you could get a little bit messy, but we go all the way around the stone and then we do a little sneaky cheat code here with the pliers. So we're just clipping it off and you'll see here, boom, gone. Unfortunately, you can't just do this without sawing. So you do want to saw maybe like a 30% of the way at least. We'll talk about this a bit more in a minute, but you can't just go straight at it and try to chip it off like I am here. It's just not going to work out. So that one, we're going to have to go back to the 80 grit. We want to bring it right into the edge of the opal, but you don't want to hit the edge of the opal. The 80 grit will very much chip any kind of little edges. And if you chip the edges, you've got to go back over it with the 600. So you might as well just not chip it in the first place. And then when you get close, like here, you can see there's maybe 1/2 mil around the edge. Just jump over to the 600 grit and bring it in that last little touch. It's still going to be very quick with ironstone. Well, there you have it. Unfortunately, sometimes it just doesn't quite work out. Now, amazing color in the parts that do have color, but there is this little potchy mark in the middle there, which is taking up a lot of space. I can't go any deeper into it without going through to the ironstone. You can start seeing the texture of the ironstone in it. So unfortunately, this one is a little bit of a dud. And it's going to go in my pile of, yes, I will finish them, but I'm not in a rush to get it done. A lot of videos that I record actually fall apart at this moment and they never see the light of day, but this one I realized I did something tricky that I don't think I've shown on the channel before, and that was slicing and then using these little guys. You can see they're a little bit rusted because they've been hit with water a few times. A lot of the time when you're using a Dremel, everything is taking a long time, right? When you're grinding away, it's taking a long time. When you're polishing, it's taking a long time. When you're slicing, sometimes it can take a really long time. And it's really important to work smarter and not harder. So one thing I do is I'll just trim around all the little edges of the stone. You don't even have to go that deep in if you're pretty confident, especially with Boulder Opal. When it comes to more pure silica like a white opal or a crystal opal or something, you got to be a lot more careful. It's like glass, it can shatter in mysterious ways. But when it's something like Andamuka or Boulder, you can slice a fair way in and then just get your little, whatever you call these. Some people call them flush cutters, side cutters, a whole heap of different cutters. In the end, you're just looking at a pair of pliers with a little snipping blade. You put the precious opal side to the flat end over here, and then the part you're happy to shoot off and get rid of, just bam, crunch them in there and off it goes. It's a really handy trick. It will save you, it'll reduce the time it takes you to do a slice by more than 50%. It is really quick because as you get deeper into those slices, you can see how thick this one here is. As you get deeper in, you do tend to get a little bit bogged down and the rotary tools aren't that strong and you can get all jammy, especially with Boulder Opal. That mud makes it really thick and you'll hear your motor start slowing and you don't want to burn it out and just get it stuck in there. So that's why I do the credit card style sweeping. Not that you swipe credit cards very much anymore these days, that's an old school thing. But using this little cutter trick, it will speed up the process a huge amount. And I've never had it go sideways on me except for once with the crystal opal where it split and it split kind of diagonally backwards under the bar that I was trying to chase, which on a crystal opal is devastating because it affects how it looks on the front. Thankfully it wasn't too bad and I did manage to trim back the opal and get rid of 99% of it. So you have to be a little smart and a little careful about it, but it does speed up the process by a lot. So yeah, thought I'd include this video just because of that. You can see here the opal it's a nice opal. It's not too bad. It's going to be a bit of a picture stone because of this sweeping effect, but the color itself looks pretty cool. I do like that Boulder Opal. It's almost like the opal pours into the crevices and sets in that position. It's really cool. Unfortunately not a full face stone, more of a picture stone, but you know what? I'll finish it off one day, and who knows, I might do a bunch of these while I'm doing a live stream or something, because after the Nova stage I don't need to think too much about it, so it is just a matter of going through the stages and polishing it up. Perfect for something like a live stream, which I haven't done in a long time, so I have to work that out with the new computer setup. Anyway, that's it for this one. Good luck, hopefully you guys have better luck than me, but I do have a couple stones that are working out much better, and so I've got to leave this one and keep moving on. Should have some gems in no time. See you guys.